Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and we're going to do some speculation today because why not? And I usually get this wrong, and that's fine. I'm not here to be like, oh, I know anything and everything, but I want to talk about Chase. And I'm usually the most wrong when it comes to Chase, but also like Chase is the most fascinating, so let's talk about it. I'm going to talk about Chase because we all know that there's going to be a Sapphire Reserve refresh. There's already been one rumored. We already had that leak that happened a couple of weeks ago. I said at the time it looked like they were ruining the Sapphire Reserve. Maybe ruin is not the right word, but the couponification of the Sapphire Reserve is probably coming sooner than we want. There was stuff that I mentioned that was missing, and the more that hasn't happened, the more I've been thinking about the Sapphire Reserve, the Sapphires in general, and I think we're not going to get one card update when they do the Sapphire Reserve. I think we're going to get 4. I think we're going to see the Sapphire Reserve, the Sapphire Preferred, and both Freedom cards updated all at the same time. Did some poking around, and I have a couple of good reasons as to why. So we're going to start with the Freedoms. When it comes to the Freedoms, haven't been touched since September of 2022 when they launched the Freedom Flex. When the Freedom Flex replaced the original, the OG Chase Freedom card, the one that is the Visa card that you can get through product changes but not apply for anymore. When Freedom Flex came out, they also updated the Freedom Unlimited, and the Freedom Unlimited got its 3 times points on pharmacies and 3 times points on dining. This is when Chase started doing all dining all the time, all 3x. We haven't seen changes to those cards in the last 5 years. We've seen new welcome offers, whether it's the 10x for a year on grocery on the Freedom Flex, 5x for a year on gas and grocery on the Freedom Flex and Freedom Unlimited, the Freedom Unlimited double cashback welcome offer. Spend whatever you want for a year and they'll double it. And since September of 2020, we haven't seen the cards structurally change. I'm starting to notice where it appears that cards get changed and refreshed usually about every 5 years. So if it's been about 5 years since the Freedom cards have been updated, it would make sense that now is about the time that you would refresh them. So the Freedom cards haven't been touched since September of 2020. Now they've gotten additions when the DoorDash credits and Lyft credits have updated over time. Those have been on the Freedoms, those have been on the Sapphires, those have added, come and gone, this, that, and the other. Currently, the DoorDash credits are on the Freedoms. The Lyft credit is on the Freedoms. The Instacart credit has not returned to the Freedoms. The Instacart credit launched on May 1st across all of Chase's co-branded cards. I find it hard to believe that you're going to see Instacart and Chase working on the co-brand side, but not on the personal side, especially since the business Ultimate Reward earning cards, the In Cash and the Ink Unlimited, have also gotten Instacart credits. So the Instacart credits, and this is like reason 3, but reason number 1, the Freedoms haven't been touched since 2020. Reason number 3, the Instacart credits that were left off of the Sapphires and Freedoms, and coincidentally, the Ink Preferred. So I would say it's safe to assume that the credits will break down as you see them on other cards. So the no annual fee, I want to say the Bonvoy Bold and the IHG Traveler both have Instacart credits that aren't particularly strong, but no annual fee. What are you expecting? So you'll see something like that on the Freedom cards. You'll probably see 3 months of Instacart plus $10 a month, right? Then you've got the $20 a month that you see on the In Cash and Ink Unlimited. I'm certain the $20 a months are going to come to the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve. I also think the Sapphire Reserve is just going to get a continuous Instacart Plus membership. So Instacart wasn't announced on the Sapphire and Freedom lines. So the Ultimate Reward earning cards don't have the Instacart benefit. That is a big flag that there's got to be more coming from Chase at some point. So it makes sense now that you've got the Freedoms haven't been touched since 2020. The Instacart credits didn't relaunch on the personal Ultimate Reward earning cards, just 2 of the business cards. Maybe the Ink Preferred is also getting an update, but we'll leave that to another time. So that's one. We're going to jump back to 2. The last time the Sapphire Preferred and the Sapphire Reserve were updated was in 2021. And that was to accommodate the online grocery in the thick of global event that was happening at the time. Updates got made to the card. Card was much more focused on it became much more focused on lifestyle because travel was not much of a thing that you could do safely a whole lot. People still did it, but whatever. Neither here nor there. So it's been about 4 years. So you're coming up on 4.5 years. So you may as well just get it over with now and not extend it another year. Or you're coming up on 4 years. Doesn't make sense to wait another year. And we already have the leaks of the Sapphire Reserve. So with that, the Sapphire Reserve, we do have those leaks that came out. I'm not going to repeat them because I still don't think those are the final things. I do think that there will be a $20 a month Instacart credit. I think you're going to see the DoorDash credit go to, from its 3 separate transactions to at least a $25 coupon a month, which would be super helpful. I'm still going to use DoorDash because 3x points, and it's the only way that I can get groceries with 3x Ultimate Rewards without finagling my way into a Sapphire Preferred. So, $20 a month on the Sapphire Reserve. I think there's going to be either 10 or 20 on the Sapphire Preferred, depending on what they do with the Sapphire Preferred. I do think that we're going to see refreshes on both of those cards. I think we're going to see travel moved up to 3x on the Sapphire Preferred. I think we'll see dining remain at 3x on the Sapphire Preferred. I don't know about online grocery. Maybe that could be a complete grocery, or maybe they swap it out for a completely different category, because I don't know what the Freedoms look like either. The Freedoms could get grocery in there as well, and Chase wants you to get multiple of their cards. So grocery, I think, is going to be a category somewhere. Where that is, I don't know. But I do think they're going to go from online grocery to grocery. Grocery will have the added benefit of in-store and online. It's just better. It's just better. So it stands to reason that if you're going to update Sapphire Reserve, it makes sense to just rip the bandage off and update Sapphire Preferred at the same time. Since the Freedom cards were updated, update the Freedom cards as well. So that is 3 of my 4 reasons. And then the last one, competition. And I'm not talking Capital One, I'm not talking Wells, I'm not talking anyone else. Like US Bank could come out with a 4x everything card that isn't tied to how much money you put in a checking account. Wells Fargo could come out with a 10x grocery card. Chase doesn't care. Chase is not here for that. PNC could come out with the 5% cash back on everything card. Just everything. Come to PNC, waste all of our money, 5x on everything. We'll get a whole bunch of swipes, and then we'll find out what the churning world does to us. Yeah. Chase doesn't care. Chase has one competitor in their mind. American Express. American Express recently filed 9 trademarks that are probably going to lead to a number of card relaunches and refreshes. And that is what will move Chase. So you've seen, I did a video on these trademarks. There's there's a large number of them. I want to say it was 9, but you've got things like Pro Cash, Pro Rewards, Premier Plus. All of these cards, I think you're going to see a reintroduction to a card that will be akin to the Everyday Preferred that was retired. That will be akin to the Everyday card. You could see the Blue Business Cash and Blue Business Plus card refreshed as the Pro Cash and Pro Rewards. You could see a return of the Cash Magnet card as like a 2% cashback card in the form of statement credits. That might be like the Premier Plus or Preferred Cash. I don't know. I don't remember all of the trademarks. But American Express is about to make moves. And once American Express makes moves, Chase will make moves. Or Chase is going to make moves and American Express is going to make moves. And Chase is going to try and preempt American Express's moves. If Chase thinks for any amount of time that American Express is going to come out with a consumer 2% or 2x membership reward earning card in any way, shape, or form, Freedom Unlimited is going to 2%, 2x everything, 2x catch-all. They might add a 3x category to it as well, but it's going to be the 2x catch-all card. If they think for a second that there's going to be an Everyday Preferred update, they will look to either counter it or present such a value prop with the Freedom cards in association with the Sapphire cards that they'll keep you away from going to a new everyday preferred. And then there's the whole Graphite and Catalyst, and we don't know what those two cards look like. Those are probably charge cards. One, I think, is going to come underneath the green card. One, I think, is going to come... I don't know. One, I think, is going to be underneath the green card. I just don't know what the other one will be. So, American Express has a number of cards trademarked. Now, trademarks do not mean products. I know this. But I do think we're going to see a large number of refreshes or relaunches from American Express, and Chase is going to look to counter that either preemptively or after the fact. But I don't think they're going to wait too long, because those trademarks were only filed in April. So you're going to get a ton of runway by announcing the changes to Freedom and Sapphire now, and then updating those cards later, and waiting for the competition later. But I did want to get out there that it stands to reason that you could see 4 cards updated, not just Sapphire Reserve. Now, would it make sense to roll them out over time? Sure. Could it make sense to do the Sapphires first and then wait a couple of weeks and then do the Freedom cards? Also, yes. But I think you're going to see all 4 of those consumer cards, the Freedoms and the Sapphires, all refreshed together, or very shortly after one another. Also, it could stand to reason that you could see another Freedom card introduced, and you could see another Sapphire card introduced, or reintroducing the no annual fee Sapphire card. That one could be weird, where Chase could decide to let you have access to limited transfer partners across its transfer partners, or like only certain ones are 1-to-1. I don't know, but I'm just going to throw that out there as an idea. But those 4 cards that are getting updated in my mind right now, it makes sense. And just because it makes sense doesn't mean it'll happen. And again, I use these when I started Speculation Station around a year ago. My first Speculation Station was, hey, is the Chase Ritz-Carlton card coming back? And it hasn't yet. It may not. It may just get updated while still retired. We'll see. But that's going to do it for this one. If you like what I do, hit the subscribe button down below. Check me out on the Stack Your Points podcast. We release on Wednesdays and Fridays here on YouTube. You can check us out on lives on Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Sometimes stuff happens. Check out my pinned comment for ways to support me outside of YouTube. Consider becoming a channel member. That's the Tidbit Collector down at the bottom. And yeah, check out some of my other co-creators out there in the space. I'll link to 1 or 2 in the description. But thanks so much for your time. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.